Okay, this is for Math 8 for my 7th and 8th hour. Since we got out early last Friday, so yay, but I didn't get a chance to explain this to you. So you need to get this paper out that you received um, from Mrs. Jolly on Thursday, but I need to explain a few things. I know some people were able to go through this, some people weren't, but a lot of people did not write equations. I noticed that second hour. So we are going to go through just a few of them, not all of them, but there's a couple of them we've got to watch. So everybody get this out, and the Mrs. McKenzie will pause it, or whoever your sub is, in case that's not her, but Miss McKenzie, if you were not here on Thursday, I put a copy of it in the folder, in the 7th or 8th hour folder on the closet, so you need to go get it. Everybody else, make sure this is out. All right, now compare the two functions listed below and determine which has the negative slope. So function 1, they're talking about chocolates. Now they do it in two scenarios here. They give you the scenario and the table. So we could look at the scenario. Jacob has 60 chocolates. He gives 4 chocolates per week to his friend. Let y be the chocolates remaining as a function in the number of weeks x. So the thing is, right here, it didn't specifically say write a rule like it does down here, but I'm going to have you write the equation, write the rule. And you really could do this from the scenario. And then we'll come back and show you again how to do it from the table when we review early, I don't know, in a couple days. But Jacob has 50 chocolates. So he starts with 50 and he gives 4 chocolates per week. So it's going down 4 each week. So your equation, let x and y. So what this is saying is remain as a function the number of weeks. Y equals, he's giving 4 chocolates per week. So he's giving away 4 chocolates per week, and he's starting with 50. So this is the equation that we want to see it in slope-intercept form. If you wrote this, that is still mathematically correct. But I kind of want to get you programmed to go ahead and do it in slope-intercept form. Program sounds bad, but this is mathematically still correct. And I can see a lot of you doing this. He's starting with 50, and he's giving away 4 per week. So now this one. Cold drinks. Now those don't stop. Yeah, that's the slope. Remember, that's your slope. That's your y-intercept. So it's going down. Your rate of change is what your slope is. So yes, that's going to be the -1, but let's go ahead and do this one because you still have to write the rule. This one, Ava has 10 cold drinks at the start of the day. She purchases 2 cold drinks per day for the shopkeeper. Write the rule of the total number of cold drinks as a function of the number of days. Notice they switched the D. I do have to tell you, this is kind of weird to only switch one letter. So if you want to switch the number of days and the cold drinks, if you want to say, okay, the number of cold drinks she has is going to equal, she got 10 already, she started with 10, and she's purchasing 2 more every day. This would be more common, or x and y if they don't give you that, if they tell you to use x and y. But your days is your independent variable. Your dependent, how many cold drinks you have. Now don't put D and D because that's confusing for drinks and days. Don't put the same letter. But that is your equation or your rule for this scenario. Now it says which one's the negative slope? Well, the function 1. So some of you who say you already have this done, go back and you need to write the equations. Okay, so that's the one thing I know second hour we missed. Greater rate of change. This one down here. Compare the following functions to determine which has the greater rate of change. Which is changing at a greater rate, not means the greater number, and I'll show you what that means because there's a problem here that kind of stumped us a little bit. But greater rate of change, and I want you to over here to write ROC for rate of change, and I want you to identify when it's just showing you 2 functions with the 2 equations. I want you to identify which equation, like what's the rate of change. Well, here 2 is your rate of change. That's your slope. This means you're starting at 6 degrees, and it's going up 2 degrees every hour. So your rate of change here is 2. This rate of change is 6. So which is greater, 2 or 6? Well, 6 is. So this has a greater rate of change. And your sub can pause this anytime. I know this is, we can slow down, we can reverse this, and she can pause and speak to you about this. But watch that. So these, you want to go through and read it And you still want to write your equations. Don't just circle, but I also want to see equations. Now, there is one that kind of stumped us. Where is it? I think it's on the back. No, it's not there. I apologize. Oh, this one right here, number 7. I'm going to go ahead and discuss this with you guys. So take a minute to read that. You can pause it. Compare the following function to determine which has the greater rate of change. Okay, so here's the scenario. Jeffrey has $60. He buys books at a rate of $10 per day. Let the y be the money remaining as a function of the number of days x. So he's starting, we're still using our x and y, he's starting with $60 and he buys books at a rate of $10 per day. So we want to know the money remaining. So that's going to be a negative 10x plus 60 is our equation. But then down here, Jayden has 10 flowers. He buys 5 per week. Let y be the flowers remaining as a function of the number of weeks. So meaning his flowers, the y is your flowers, is going to equal, he's starting with 10, and he's buying, well, you don't need that positive sign, 5 per week. So now be careful here, the greater rate of change, what's your ROC? The rate of change or slope is a negative 10. This rate of change is 5, but be careful. This tricked me in second hour, so I've got to correct them. The rate of change, which is the greater rate of change, even though 5 is larger, this is the rate of change. This is changing by 10. Ooh, you know what? We got to even be careful of 10 per day, 5 per week. Well, that's going to change more anyway. So you got to be careful per day and per week. But in this case, this is going down 10 per day. So this one is actually going to have a greater rate of change because it's going down by 10. And you want to think of it as the absolute value. And okay, that's probably over your head. We'll talk about that later. But you want to say that's going down by 10 while this is going up only by 5. So this is a steeper slope. So that one I know can confuse us. But your goal is to go through and make sure you read what it's trying to find. Some of them just say which is a negative slope, but I still want you to write an equation for all these. All these still have equations. Your sub will have the answer key, and she's very good at the math, so she will have the answer key that you can compare, and you can see how you're doing with that. All right, I will leave another, so I'm going to let you work on that, and if you get far enough, then I have another page that we can get started on, but we can continue Wednesday also. Thank you.